किया था और बहुत कुछ हुआ भी है, काफी सारे कमेंट्स ऑलरेडी आ रहे हैं, and I think it's going to be a full show once again. And of course, as always, we'll be discussing a little bit tidbits from the IPL world as well, because a lot of action is heating up there as well. I'm Chetan Narula, and let's bring on the panelists today. We have Gaurav Gupta and Manuja Virappa who are joining us from the TOI Ace Reporters. We'll also have Sahil Malhotra. We're just waiting for him to join in. But until then, how are you guys? How are you doing?
Thanks, Chetan, for once again having me on the show, and Manuja as well. Always good to chat with both of you and Sahil on cricket. So, I mean, and today is obviously a
मैं
good day.
या इट इज अ गुड डे। आई एम ग्लैड यू मेंशन इट इज अ गुड डे, क्योंकि मैं व्यूअर्स को सबसे पहले बता देता हूं कि वॉशिंगटन सुंदर गेंदबाजी करने आए, पहला विकेट निकाला, दूसरा विकेट निकाला, तब तक सब कुछ शांत था। फिर उसके बाद जैसे ही उसकी और विकेटें आने लगी, Gaurav Gupta became very, very active on our group, because yesterday he predicted that Washington Sundar will be playing, and at the same time he'll be picking up wickets, and he basically backed the Indian coach's move that this is going to happen, this is going to work, and it absolutely worked. Two bowlers picking up 10 wickets, both the off spinners cleaning up the house, and I think it was a good day overall for India. So let's talk about that. Let's bring on the scorecard and see what has happened in Pune today, and how it has happened. There it is. There's your summary for today. 259 all out after New Zealand won the toss and opted to bat. Or uske baad India lost the skipper Rohit Sharma, but they're 16 for 1. Washington Sundar, career best 7 for 59. Fourth best figures against New Zealand by an Indian spinner in India. And of course, in a way, he matched what Ravichandran Ashwin did. Ravichandran Ashwin's best is also 7 for 59. That was Indore 2017. So from that perspective, absolutely, कहते हैं ना कि bang on. मैं ये सोच रहा था, अगर गौतम गंभीर कहीं कसिनो में जाके, he would have placed a bet instead of calling up Washington Sundar to the squad, he would have gotten like really rich. Although Gautam Gambhir is already very rich, but or the selectors, or the Indian selectors, rich people. Let's get into this. Gaurav, आप ही बताओ, Washington Sundar 7 for 59. What were your thoughts? You backed this. कि हाँ, ये selection is going to work. Tell us, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had a complete idea that this why they were doing this. वो मुझे समझ में आ रही थी. People were a bit. I think even Mr. Sunil Gavaskar was a bit critical of the move कि क्यों उसको लाया जा रहा है. But I had an idea कि उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. So many left-handers, देखो हमको तकलीफ कौन दे रहे हैं. न्यूजीलैंड के two main left-handers, Devin Conway, the opener, and obviously Rachin Ravindra. अब उनको टैकल करने के लिए वो अश्विन और जडेजा थोड़े कम पड़ रहे थे, because I think थोड़ा when they keep bowling excessively at home, their fingers get sore, and they need that support, from the third spinner. जो कुलदीप नहीं दे पा रहे थे at the last test match at Bangalore. So I think that is where that thing was there, that they needed somebody to sort of, and the left-hander, the ball going away from the left-handers. That is where I think Washi made a crucial impact. And I'm so happy for him, because 3 साल पहले टीम से I think last test match खेला उन्होंने, if I'm not wrong, and he was in the wilderness, he was sort of, and just played a domestic game. आप और फैल बात करते दिल्ली में, he scored around 150, and I don't know how many wickets it took, but he seemed to be, and once he comes into the mix ना, आपकी batting भी बहुत strong हो जाती है, and that I think gives you an added bonus. And this was obviously a memorable day for him, and obviously a great thing that अश्विन की legacy आगे ले आने वाला बंदा भी दिख रहा है finally हमको.
Okay, I don't agree with that last statement. कि अश्विन की legacy आगे ले जाने वाला. I think it's still early doors. He's just playing his 5th test match. Let's hold our horses on that account. But आपने कहा कि his selection was inspired. I think it was inspired more by the fact that Kuldeep Yadav was not very effective. Yes, the left-hander, the number of left-handers that New Zealand has, वो एक बहुत बड़ा factor था. But at the same time, कि Ashwin and Jadeja are going to bowl your bulk of the overs. But Kuldeep, with the kind of bowling he did, and he doesn't contribute in terms of the batting, क्योंकि अगर आप एक spin friendly pitch बना रहे हो, तो you need your batting extended a bit. Manuja, your thoughts. How have you seen this selection? How did you see the day progress? 7 for 59, 3 for 64. Let me also say, Ashwin bowled really well today. It was a completely different bowler from what we saw in Bengaluru. How did you look at that?
So, Chetan, one of the things that I think Gautam Gambhir said, when they were talking about Kuldeep and Washington in the presser, he used the word control. I think that was the operative word that he used, and he kept saying, Washington has better control. But the way they came about, I think Akashdeep was blowing hot and cold today. I know Sahil and I kept batting for him quite a bit, but yeah, it's too early in the contest to be talking about it. Ashwin coming in early, I think that's something we've spoken about. How early will the ball turn? Clearly, I think by the sixth, seventh over, there was a turn in the surface. You saw Ashwin coming in. The control with which Ashwin bowled, and Ashwin, yes, he's a seasoned pro. Washington, yes, everybody had their doubts, but the way he bowled to the stumps, I think, was outstanding. That dip that he got, and the way he kind of paced himself, especially post in the final session, post tea, I think that was commendable. And you could see that chemistry between Ashwin and Washington. Clearly, they know how to work well in tandem. And for somebody playing his fourth test and the first, I think, after 2021, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
yeah. What were the odds that he'll come out and take 7 wickets today?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I remember the BGT jo Gaba mein, that hook six that he hooked six off Pat Cummins. I think it was brilliant to watch. Of course, Rishabh Pant was at the other end, and it's been quite a while for Washington. Sundar, आपने एक दो बातें कही मनुजा जो बहुत बिल्कुल ऑप्टिमल है अश्विन के बारे में. Of course, he was wearing his pace. I thought he was wearing his pace a lot today. And he was, whenever he bowled slower, जब भी उन्होंने 85 to 92 के बीच में bowling की है, he's troubled the batters and he was getting a lot of grip and everything from the surface. At the same time, जैसे आपने कहा कि he was also controlling the runs, क्योंकि अगर आप लंच के बाद देखो, Rachin Ravindra and Devon Conway really came out and really attacked the bowling. And when he came on, then he controlled the runs as well. And, there was certified danger. And I think he really outfoxed Devon Conway. It was a very uncharacteristic stroke from Devon Conway. He was already, मतलब 140 ball वो खेल चुका है. He's played 140 balls and then he went wide of, chased the delivery, which was really wide. That was really uncharacteristic. So, and you don't see this very often, right? We have seen Jadeja and Akshar Patel play together, but we haven't seen Ashwin and another offie play together a lot. Again, I'm not going to take from Gigi's comment that we have a future off spinner, because I know Sahil disagrees with that. Sahil has a few other off spinners in mind. So let's get Sahil in, welcome him to the show. He's had a good break. Yesterday he was on off for personal reasons, but welcome back to the show, Sahil. And what are your thoughts on Washington, Sundar, on how Ashwin bowled?
Washington, I think we were very surprised. We were chatting, all of us, on that group in the morning regarding Washington's inclusion. I'm not sure, and if people kind of were saying it on Twitter that they wanted Washington to play, please get a reality check. Not many would have expected him to play this test. At max, we thought वो net में preparation करने के लिए call up किया गया है, but this was one of the bolder calls which have been taken by Ajit Agarkar. आप अगर इंग्लैंड टेस्ट सीरीज से देखेंगे, इंक्लूजन ऑफ देवदत्त पाटिकल आफ्टर सीइंग दैट 100 when he saw Devdutt Padikkal score that 100 against Bangalore at Chepauk, straight away into the test team. That's the kind of call he took. Dhruv Jurel out of nowhere goes to the test squad. Again, Washington Sundar, I'll say that out of nowhere because they were trying other options. यार दिलीप ट्रॉफी के अंदर आपको दिख रहा था वो तनुष कोटियान, उससे पहले पुलकित नारंग, फिर सारांश जैन. They weren't really that sure of Washington Sundar. That's the indication which I got. But this was a bold call, first to draft him into the squad, then to play him. But I think his pace was just ideal for this day one Pune track. His pace, 5-6 yards more than 5-6 kilometers per hour more than Ravichandran Ashwin. Average speeds, I think that kind of did the trick on a very fresher Pune track, even in the context of this game. Maybe second, third innings के अंदर Ashwin और Jadeja become more lethal. But I think day one के लिए उसका pace, those sharp off cutters around the wicket, जिस तरीके से वो angle generate करके लिटिल वेरिएंस करके मतलब वो डंडा मारा यार, वो मतलब सुपर यार, दैट वाज अ सुपर एंगल. और वो पेस ने अलाउ करा, क्योंकि अगर आप लूपी ऑफ स्पिनर डालते, बैट्समैन चढ़ के उसको डैप कर देता. बट आई थिंक हिज पेस वाज आइडियल फॉर दिस सरफेस. Whoever took that call, अभी 10 लोग बोलेंगे हमने कॉल लिया, बट ये कॉल सिर्फ एक आदमी का ही हो सकता है, वो कौन है हमें नहीं पता, बट इट वाज अ ब्रिलियंट कॉल टू टेक। आई थिंक हम लोग को नहीं उम्मीद थी कि वॉशी खेलेगा और खेल के 7 में खेलेगा, मेरे को तो बिल्कुल उम्मीद नहीं थी, 7 का तो बिल्कुल दूर दूर।
हाँ, ये समझ के बाहर था, ये सिलेक्शन समझ के बाहर था. So kudos to anybody, whether it's Gautam Gambhir, whether it's Ajit Agarkar, or it's anybody in the selection panel, or even Rohit Sharma for that matter, or anybody in the support staff, whoever took this call, saw Washi play in that Ranji Trophy game. He scored 150. He took 6 wickets, 3 wickets in each innings. He's been brilliant, and we'll talk about what this means for India's spin attack overall. That is going to be the second topic of the day. But अभी हम ये बात करते हैं कि फर्स्ट सेशन में जैसे साहिल ने बोला कि जो स्लो जो वेरिएंस आ रही थी वो वॉशिंगटन सुंदर की बॉलिंग में नहीं आ रही थी. जो आप वेरिएशन इन पेस देख रहे हैं, चेंज इन पेस देख रहे हैं, वो दैट वाज मोर इन अश्विन्स बॉलिंग. एंड आई थिंक पोस्ट लंच, and this is why I took this comment, कि India have accidentally landed on the perfect strategy for developing another off spinner under Ashwin's presence. I thought कि आप अश्विन के साथ, there was a time, I think there were a couple of spells really, they were bowling in tandem. बीच में Ravindra Jadeja was bowling a bit. I thought he bowled brilliantly, coming round the wicket to Conway and to Rachin Ravindra, and he was getting that purchase. I was so surprised to see he was getting the purchase off the surface, Ravindra Jadeja. But having said that, Gigi, I'll take you on this because you already said, it's a future for future replacement for Ashwin. But in terms of learning, let's forget the replacement bit. In terms of learning, कितनी बड़ी learning है ये वॉशिंगटन सुंदर के लिए?
लर्निंग से ज्यादा मुझे लगता है ये बहुत जरूरी था, ये हॉल उनके लिए, उनके करियर के लिए, बिकॉज आफ्टर दैट गैबा हीरोइक्स वो करियर थोड़ा सा उनका डावाडोल हो गया था, एंड लॉट ऑफ इंजरीज ही सफर्ड बीच में. इनफैक्ट हर तीसरे दिन यही न्यूज आता था कि वो यहाँ इंजर हो गए, वहां इंजर हो गए, और उसी को एज अ रिपोर्टर ट्रैक करना पड़ता था कि वो काउंटी में खेल रहे, वहां इंजर हो गए, यहाँ गिर गए. वो तो थोड़ा सा ही इज बीन वल्नरेबल, एंड आई होप ही हैज पुट दैट फेस बिहाइंड, एंड ही इज नाउ completely going to contribute to his ability, because he's a fantastic bowler. Yeah, I mean, a fantastic cricketer, who tries 100%, 150%, and has so much to contribute, both as a bowler and as a batsman. And somebody who's हरफन वाला खिलाड़ी है, वो कुछ भी आपको फील्ड पे करके दे सकता है, जैसे क्या उसे करके दिखाया. And suddenly he's just come from nowhere. I mean, imagine, the guy was playing Ranji Trophy at Arun Jaitley Stadium. वहां पर खाली स्टेडियम होगा, वहां पर वो विकेट ले रहे थे, रन बना रहे थे, कोई नहीं देख रहा था. Suddenly comes to the limelight, 2-3 days later takes 7 wickets and is the hero for India. The entire country sort of rooting for him. And I think now he's also booked his ticket for BGT. And मुझे लगता है कि उन्होंने शायद कुलदीप यादव का पत्ता जो है वो काट दिया, क्योंकि आप कितने स्पिनर लेके जाएंगे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में. Perhaps the extra fast bowler, but will you take the extra spinner there? I doubt. Beyond Ashwin and Jadeja, there'll be only space for one more spinner. I think he's sealed that spot.
I think
bold statement.
I don't think we can take more than 3 spinners. Yeah, okay.
But
let's discuss this a bit, क्योंकि ये question जरूर आएगा. So let's sports fan कह रहे हैं, do you think today's performance will affect selection of backup spinner for BGT? Sundar over Kuldeep. Let's get Manuja in here. Manuja, I remember that Ravi Shastri press conference. That was I think Sydney 2018, right? If I'm not mistaken, where he played the Sydney.
You can ask him the date. Ashwin remembers.
Yeah, Ashwin remembers that. I know. Yeah. Because so he took 5 wickets, and Ravi Bhai said that he is India's foremost spinner going ahead. Today we are in 2024, and he's still not India's foremost spinner when playing at home. So we'll talk about India's spin attack. फ्यूचर में क्या हो सकता है, बट राइट नाउ जीजी ने जैसा क्वेश्चन मार्क लगा दिया है बीजीटी पर. आई डोंट सी मोर देन 3 स्पिनर्स, क्योंकि उसमें से दो आपके स्पिन ऑलराउंडर्स हो गए एक तरीके से. व्हाट आर वी थिंकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ, और व्हाट माइट द सिलेक्टर्स बी थिंकिंग आफ्टर टुडेज परफॉर्मेंस? डज दैट पुट अ स्कैनर ओवर? या सॉरी,
I lost the question.
The question is, what do we make of this today's performance in terms of the BGT? Because we can't take more than 3 spinners. And does that put a scanner on Kuldeep?
See, then again, it's a gamble you play. Washington made his debut in Brisbane, if I'm not wrong, 2021.
Yeah.
Now got a half century and I think 3-4 wickets, which means he has some understanding of the conditions. Between Kuldeep and Washington, if you're looking at the way they've placed it now, I think Washington may go. But also, my concern about Washington is one, he's very injury prone, one. And in the last, I think he made his debut almost 6 years ago in domestic cricket. He's played about 31 first-class matches, 65 wickets. So in terms of red ball cricket, his numbers don't speak well till today. Of course, today I think changed the game for him.
Yeah.
I may sound very this thing, but one bowler I would really like to go even see go at least as a travel reserve is Tanush Kotian.
Okay. Which is surprising that he was not part of the India A squad. A little
Yes.
surprising for me. Yeah.
I was very surprised that he was not part of India A. Gaurav, correct me, is he under 25? He's not a part of the emerging team as well, right?
No,
He's
he's not part of the emerging. He's gone with the India A team to Australia. He's gone with the India A team to Australia. वो team में गए हैं वो, because his performances have come in red ball cricket in the Ranji Trophy. He was the player of the tournament, so the selectors are looking at him again in the future as a replacement for Ashwin, as and when Ashwin calls it a day. So he and Washington are, अब वो future वही रेस देखने वाली है इन दोनों के बीच में, you know, Washington और
एक्शन का क्या सीन है तनुष कोटियान का? कुछ एक्शन को लेके इशू रिपीटेड रहा
यार
ना?
एक्शन का जो लफड़ा, वो जो क्वेश्चन है ना, वो हमेशा तभी आता है जब आईपीएल ऑक्शन जिस दिन होने वाला होता है, उस दिन सब फ्रेंचाइजीज को मेल आती है कि बॉस ये 5-6 बॉलर है, इनका एक्शन जरा डॉजी है तो जरा देख लो, और बेचारे का नाम इसमें आ जाता है। उसके अलावा किसी और टूर्नामेंट में उसका नाम नहीं आया। ठीक है, ये मुझे समझ नहीं आता, और मैं ये पूछ के थक गया हूँ बीसीसीआई से कि भाई अगर वो चेक करता है, to be very frank, if he has a suspect action, why is he playing in Mushtaq Ali, Vijay Hazare, Ranji Trophy? Aren't these also important tournaments where हाँ ये, लेकिन ये आईपीएल में क्यों यार, ये सब अगर कोई चेक करता है तो भाई किसी भी डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट में खेलना चाहिए, क्योंकि फिर वो मतलब आपके डोमेस्टिक प्लेयर्स का भी तो नुकसान कर रहे हैं, आप डोमेस्टिक बैट्समैन का नुकसान कर रहे हैं, एक चक्कर डाल रहे हैं तो ठीक है। तो अगर या तो आप डिसाइड कर लीजिए कि वो चक्कर है, उसको बोलिए भाई तुम एक्शन करेक्ट करो, जाओ अपना बेंगलुरु, चेन्नई या फिर ऑस्ट्रेलिया जहां जाके एक्शन करेक्ट करके आओ, या फिर आप उसको जो है अकॉर्डिंगली आप खिलाओ यार। मतलब डू नॉट पोज दैट क्वेश्चन जस्ट बिफोर द आईपीएल। अब वो बेचारा खेला भी राजस्थान रॉयल्स से मोर एज अ बैट्समैन, आई थिंक ही ओपनड द इनिंग्स इन वन मैच, हार्डली गॉट एनी मैचेस, ठीक है, but he's got far more ability than that, and but I think specifically the selectors are looking at him as a red ball specialist. So I think that is where this thing. But to add to what I was saying earlier about Washi, एक चीज मुझे लग रहा है यार कि चेन्नई के या तमिलनाडु के पानी में कुछ तो है। अश्विन, वरुण चक्रवर्ती, वॉशी, ये लोग सब यार मतलब जबरदस्त कुछ है।
कर्नाटका वाले से चेन्नई के पानी की बात मत करो यार।
Just a correction for our viewers. Tanush Kotian is actually part of the India A squad to Australia. So
that's what.
My bad on that. Yeah, I forgot about that. But let's come back to the discussion. First of all, I want to go to Sahil with this question.
One thing that I learned here about works for Washington is his depth in moving and also his adaptability in positions. You can send him up border. We saw, I think that was fantastic by Tamil Nadu. It was very gutsy to play him in the top order, and he is a good bat. And given the way our fragile top order is right now, if you need to bat deep, I think Washington versus Kuldeep is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay. यहाँ पर एक सवाल ये आता है. Let's talk about Washington Sundar's fitness. क्योंकि Sahil, a year ago we were talking about K. Srinivas Rao. First of all, he's unavailable at the moment, so we wish him the best of health and he comes back soon to the show. Last year, श्रीनी ने हमें बताया था कि इंडिया is considering कि 14 मेंबर जो हैं ODI वर्ल्ड कप में फिक्स हो चुके हैं, and Rohit Sharma wants an off spinner in the ODI World Cup squad, and then they went for Ashwin. And the reason they went for Ashwin was because Washington Sundar का जो fitness है, that has been suspect. If this guy is fit, he walks, in my opinion, he walks into the white ball teams, into the white ball playing 11s because of his batting, because of his bowling. He can bowl with the new ball, he can bowl in the power play. And now he's made a big splash in test cricket as well. But fitness ka kya chakkar hai yaar? Why can't we see him fit for 10, 11 months a year, if not 12?
No, I think the nature of injuries which he has had, from what I've heard, from his teammates, I think his case is a very unfortunate case when it comes to injuries. मतलब कुछ इंजरीज तो ऐसा फ्रीक नेचर की हैं, कुछ टीयर्स तो ऐसे फ्रीक टीयर्स हैं, मतलब ही वुडंट हैव इवन विश्ड फॉर और एक्सपेक्टेड दैट कमिंग. सो वो चीजें मतलब आप ये नहीं कहोगे इट्स समथिंग गोइंग रॉन्ग विद हिज वर्क एथिक्स और हिज फिटनेस और समथिंग. But I think what's not working in his favor, and I clearly remember that chat which we had with Srini, both you and me were there when we were discussing that Ashwin angle ki off spinner to aane wala hai, even after the World Cup squad was named. I think KSR was the only confident person ki off spinner to jayega. Kaise jayega wo kisi ko nahi pata tha. He said off spinner jayega. Off spinner आया. बट वॉशिंगटन सुंदर का जो मेरे को सबसे बड़ा मसला लगा है, आई थिंक बैंगलोर आरसीबी के बाद, मैं आरसीबी वाला टॉपिक टच नहीं करना चाहता, एसआरएच में जिस तरीके से उसका डिप इन फॉर्म आया है, लास्ट ईयर तो खिलाया नहीं ना उसको, एक गेम खिलाया पाटा कोटला के अंदर, वॉशिंगटन इंपैक्ट प्लेयर के बाद. अब अभी रोहित ने कहीं पे स्टेटमेंट भी दिया था, रोहित ने दिया था, किसने बोला था कि वॉशिंगटन इजंट प्लेइंग, आई थिंक कुछ बोला था कि मतलब वॉशिंगटन जैसे ऑलराउंडर भी नहीं खेल रहा बिकॉज ऑफ द इंपैक्ट प्लेयर रूल. So I think he probably needs a better franchise to just up his consistency stocks. No doubt about his talents. Tall off spinner यार, मतलब no one would want. अभी मतलब दिल्ली के जो क्रिकेटर इस पे आउट हुए हैं वो बोल रहे होंगे सिलेक्टर को हमें ड्रॉप मत करना, हम उस पे आउट हुए हैं जिसने इंडिया के लिए आज 7 विकेट लिया है. तो ऐसा रेपुटेशन है उसका. टॉल ऑफ स्पिनर, फास्ट स्पिनर, गुड यूज, he makes very good use of the fingers. और आज भी अगर आप उसका स्लोमो देखोगे, जो रिलीज पॉइंट्स हैं उसके, जिस तरीके से एंगल जनरेट करता है सीम का, ही इज अ स्मार्ट बॉलर. सिर्फ छोड़ के देखता नहीं कि विकेट जादू करेगी. एंड बैटिंग एज मनुजा सेड, कुलदीप के लिए मुझे बुरा क्यों लगता है हर बार, मैं से रवि भाई के कमेंट्स पे नहीं जा रहा. राजकोट में मैं और जीजी साथ में खड़े हुए थे नेट के, जब वो रोहित के साथ मास्टर क्लास ले रहा था बैटिंग का, पौना घंटा 1 घंटा बैटिंग किया था उसने, और राजकोट टेस्ट के अंदर वो बैटिंग के अंदर गेम बनाया था उसने बैटिंग करके, जो पार्टनरशिप उसका हुआ था लोअर डाउन द ऑर्डर. ऐसा नहीं है बैटिंग वो नहीं कर रहा, बट द ओनली प्रॉब्लम इज कि वॉशिंगटन सुंदर जो वर्सिटैलिटी दे देता है कि 3 पे भी आ जाएगा, 6 पे भी आ जाएगा, स्क्वायर ऑफ द विकेट, इज अ गुड पुलर, गुड हुकर, गुड कटर ऑफ द बॉल, सो ही गिव्स यू दैट प्रॉपर बैटिंग ऑप्शन एज वेल. दैट्स वेयर कुलदीप इज लाइक अनफॉर्चुनेट.
Yeah, let me interject here because तुम इतने सारे उसके गुण गा रहे हो, सब लोगों ने आईपीएल टीम बनानी शुरू कर दी है वॉशिंगटन सुंदर के साथ, and I don't want to go in that direction क्योंकि there is another topic that I want to touch base on. Let's talk about the spin options. Let's look at some of the figures for Washington Sundar, first class figures. Washington Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel, और उसका एक reason है because Ashwin is on the wrong side of 35 now. ठीक है, actually he's on the wrong side of 38. Jadeja is also kind of getting 35-ish, if I'm not mistaken. Here it is, first-class figures for Washington Sundar, 31 matches, pretty decent figures there as well in terms of that. Can we also get a look at Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel, please? My question to all of you, and we'll start with Gigi and then Manuja and then Sahil. Is this India's frontline spin attack once we say bye to Ashwin and Jadeja? We don't know when that buy is going to be happening. I think आराम से 2-3 साल हैं. But is this India's front line or second line of attack when it comes to spin bowling in Test cricket? Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, and Washington Sundar. Gigi, let's start with you.
I think मुझे लगता है कि अक्षर का मुझे ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाना मुश्किल लग रहा है क्योंकि एज आई सेड ना, जडेजा, अश्विन और
It's not about Australia.
Beyond this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, beyond that, I'm talking about over the next 2, 3, 4 years. Is this the attack?
Beyond that, beyond that, there is healthy competition. Yeah, which is very important. You need to have a lot of, because आप बहुत सारी cricket इंडिया में खेलते हैं. You play a decent amount of around 10-12 test matches, so you need a good spin option, and then that way it's good that there is Akshar, Jadeja still perhaps a year or so उनके अंदर cricket बाकी है, Ashwin maybe another 6 months at least, so I mean, and now there's Washi and then there's Tanush Kotian waiting in the wings, so बहुत सारे options है, which is good. यार, always better to have these options. In fact, between Akshar Patel and Washi भी एक race है बहुत solid, and I know that for a fact that in the T20 World Cup, there was a lot of sort of opinion that Washi should be picked. It's just that ये जो बकवास impact player rule है, इसकी वजह से वो बेचारे खेल नहीं पाए for Sunrisers Hyderabad. He hardly could play matches, and then that was what was spoken against him. That went against him कि ये तो अपनी franchise के लिए IPL में नहीं खेल पा रहे हैं, तो Indian team के लिए इनको कहाँ pick करेंगे? ठीक है, and then Akshar obviously had a great T20 World Cup to his credit. He those who were backing him, he proved them right. But there was a sort of a lot of debate on these two players. और I think ये आगे future में भी होने वाला है. A lot of debate whether it should be Akshar or it should be Washi, you know, and depending on their form, I think. और इसके बीच में suddenly Kuldeep भी है, जो कि and Kuldeep is a brilliant bowler at when he's good. You know, as I and Sahil saw in Rajkot, I think he got a couple of wickets on the third day and he turned the match around. You know, he was brilliant, absolutely. He's got the और वो जो डालता है ना वो कोई भी नहीं डालता है. I think Chinaman bowler शायद कोई world cricket में top level पे कोई भी नहीं है. So that is a huge advantage that he has, which is why he will always be in the mix. So it's good to have these kind of variety
Options,
that we have
right.
in terms of.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I'll take issue with one comment you made. अश्विन 6 महीने, जडेजा 1 महीना, मतलब क्या ये क्या हो गया? मतलब ये तो घबराहट हो जाएगी लोगों को, ऐसे मत बोलो. Let's move on. Manuja has dropped out. So Sahil, coming to you, what do you see as a spin, group, the second line of spin attack?
No, for me to evaluate any attack, Chetan, I kind of follow very closely how those spinners will perform when they are the only spinner in the squad. Whether it's Kuldeep, whether it's Akshar. We have seen that with Ashwin. We have seen that with Jadeja. But how would Akshar Patel perform when there are no Ashwin and Jadeja from the other end? Have we seen that yet? We haven't. So for me, Akshar the bowler will only convince me when I see him leading the spin attack. He has done that. पर वो इंग्लैंड के टाइम पे हुआ था जब अखाड़े पे अहमदाबाद में मैच हुए थे. तो मैं
ठीक है, मैं उसी का मेंशन करने
Before that in Chennai also.
Yeah,
Before that in Chennai also. That was also खराब.
Correct.
Yeah, but my point is कि वहां पे जडेजा नहीं थे उस सीरीज में. We are talking about 21 series against England. Jadeja wasn't there, so he was a good pair. He was a good partner for Ashwin. आप अश्विन के साथ bowling कर रहे हो, sometimes you can get a little overwhelmed or whatever, and it's a big stage. आप England के against खेल रहे हो. I think he did well enough as India's second spinner in that series. It was a big series, and I think Akshar Patel has grown leaps and bounds as a cricketer. The confidence is really flowing. So I would a little bit object to the statement you made कि बिना अश्विन और जडेजा के साथ वो कैसे करेंगे. You can't wait till they retire and then give him a role, in the side. आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया के against देखो. He was very decent.
I agree to what you are saying, but I'm just saying right now he's your support cast spinner, right? वो filler है, मतलब वो release करने आता है जडेजा को या अश्विन को support. तो मेरे को ये कि how he would, so can he lead the attack? One. Off spinner, I'm still not very convinced. As Gigi Bhai said, I still wanted to see more of Pulkit Narang. That unfortunately didn't happen. He has dropped off the radar suddenly. So Tanush Kotian, Saransh Jain, Washington Sundar, these are our three off spinners right now. Kuldeep Yadav, again, will you keep him in a two spin bowling attack? That's the call which we need to take. Ki Kuldeep or Akshar Patel, can they coexist in a test squad, in a test 11?
Yeah.
So, because for Kuldeep, you need good complementing spinner for him to do his magic from the other end. Yeah, so these are the things I kind of,
Okay. Dhruv is saying that Sundar and Akshar can complement each other. That could be the new Ashwin Jadeja partnership for all we know. लेकिन उसमें अभी थोड़ा सा टाइम है, जैसे जीजी कह रहे हैं. मुझे नहीं लगता कि उसमें 6 महीने या 1 साल है. I think there's a good 2-3 years before we get into that stage. Now let's talk about just the test match in general. Let's look at the summary once again. There are a few questions about Rohit Sharma's dismissal, why they were batting slowly and all. Sports fan here, he has put another question while Manuja comes back to us. Sports fan says, how do you see Gigi's yesterday's PC where he says KL being given the long rope and selecting Sarfaraz today? Who wants to answer this one?
Okay. See, I said that in the morning that it's open for interpretation, but then he didn't say anything about playing KL Rahul. He said giving him a rope. But what really ticked me off about Gautam Gambhir was the social media noise. I don't understand our cricketers and their whole belief in saying, noise. What is the noise about? I mean, continuously, Gambhir is not the first person who's spoken about noise, social media. So even journalists are a part of that so-called social media that he talks about quite often, I think.
नहीं, मेरा भी यही सवाल था आज कि does social media pick the team or not? But if you really understand what Gigi said, and we mean Indian team ka GG. We'll come to our own GG. It was more about supporting KL Rahul, not dropping him from the
Yes.
test squad. I think that was the that was the implication, which I think a lot of people missed. And if you really think about it, they're going to give him a long rope, which means कि maybe he's not going to play any more test matches in the series. And obviously, maybe he will not, because Sarfaraz has performed in Bangalore. I don't know how he's going to perform in Pune. But again, you're not going to chop and change unless there's an injury, right? But what
Yeah.
Gambhir meant was कि KL Rahul BGT खेलने जा रहे हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जा रहे हैं. Your thoughts, Gigi, and then Sahil.
Well, definitely, BGT to जा ही रहे हैं. 100% he'll be. See, in the Sena countries, you look at his record, it's terrific. He's got 100 in South Africa. He's got 100 in Australia. I think उनका दूसरा ही test match था. I think Sydney. Perhaps he would have been there on that tour. And there was there's 100 in England as well. I think Oval में last test में in 2018. So he's got a fabulous record overseas. So he will be always there in the mix overseas. Unfortunately, वो 2021 में भी गए थे बॉर्डर गावस्कर सीरीज में, उनको नहीं मिला. एंड फॉर्मर इंडिया कैप्टन दिलीप वेंकसाकर यूज्ड टू कीप आस्किंग मी कि राहुल को क्यों नहीं खिला रहे. मैंने कहा सर मेरे पास भी जवाब नहीं है. कहते हैं उसको ओपन क्यों नहीं करा रहे, व्हाई इज ही नॉट. आई सेड आई डोंट नो, दे जस्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ trying all players, and by the time we came to Brisbane we were hardly left with 11 players. Still वो बेचारे नहीं खेले, but his record is fabulous and he will be there in BGT in the mix. And generally, but हाँ इंडिया में against quality spinners and all शायद वो थोड़ा सा फंसते हैं, और शायद वो एक पॉइंट है. बट या अभी राइट नाउ अब सरफराज को आपने खिलाया है, you would want to give him a long rope and you will want to sort of, जो आपने long rope की बात करी खेल के लिए, और अच्छा है, आपको उसको पब्लिकली बैक करना चाहिए, ठीक है. और नॉइज वगैरह की ये सब तो बातें होती हैं बोलने के लिए, वी शुड टेक इट टू सीरियसली. ऑब्वियसली नॉइज अफेक्ट करता है. आप 1-0 डाउन है सीरीज में और आप एक आउट ऑफ फॉर्म बैट्समैन को खिला रहे हैं, कब तक खिलाएंगे, अनलेस वो कप्तान है या वाइस कैप्टन है, बहुत ही सीनियर प्लेयर है विराट कोहली जैसे. अदरवाइज उस नॉइज से थोड़ा तो फर्क पड़ता ही. और वो अदर देन नॉइज वो फॉर्म भी उनकी खराब ही चल, मतलब उतनी नहीं है जिस तरह से फ्लो में वो खेलते हैं. एंड यू गॉट अ बैट्समैन हु स्कोरिंग हंड्रेड्स like anything. With whom how long can you keep Sarfaraz out and not give him a decent run now and only call him up when अरे ये इंजर्ड हो गया है या वो उसका फॉर्म खराब हो गया, अब खिला लो एक टेस्ट मैच उसको, या वो अवेलेबल नहीं है.
Okay, let's not stay on KL Rahul too much, लेकिन यहाँ पर ये कमेंट लेते हैं हम जरूर. Anybody else worried about Rohit Sharma? I thought I was
Chetan,
when I saw him getting
Chetan,
bowled.
yeah. I need 90 seconds on KL Rahul, if you can allow me, please, because Manuja is here. I was doing some stat homework yesterday क्योंकि KL Rahul सेना, अभी जीजी ने भी बोला, जीजी भाई अगर आपको मैं स्टैट बताऊंगा ना तो आप कहोगे परसेप्शन पीआर चालू है केएल का सेना का. अब आपको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग नंबर देता हूं. मनुजा विल आल्सो बी सरप्राइज लिसनिंग टू दैट. इन सिमिलर नंबर ऑफ गेम्स व्हिच दे हैव प्लेड in Australia, not similar number of games, but एक एवरेज का अगर कंपैरिजन करूं, मयंक अग्रवाल का ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 34 का एवरेज है. KL Rahul is averaging 22 in Australia, 20 or 22 in Australia. Why the hell are we going on and about KL Rahul's back foot punch, back foot play? अरे 22 के औसत से रन लग रहा है, 5 टेस्ट मैच खेलेगा, 22 के हिसाब से 10 इनिंग के अंदर 220 रन देगा आपको. 220 रन के प्लेयर पे पंट खेलोगे आप और बोलोगे सरफराज को छोटा बॉल.
Okay. No. Look. I think that's a little unfair. That's a little unfair because I'll tell you why. मैंने दो टूर तो
average of 22 was 22.
No, ठीक है, fine, ठीक है, but like the cliche goes, stats don't reveal everything. ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाके कितना
50 टेस्ट के बाद 35 का एवरेज है. 50 टेस्ट के बाद 35 का एवरेज.
नहीं, listen. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि they don't say कि he's an extraordinary batter. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ. But we also have to consider the fact that KL Rahul has done a lot of up and down in his batting career. कभी आप ओपनिंग करा रहे हो, कभी 5 पे, कभी 6 पे. So that has a bit of an impact. Let's not forget South Africa में on those tough pitches he batted beautifully. Let's not forget that. Let's हमें एक चीज करने की जरूरत ये जरूर है कि KL Rahul, the batter he was, I think different phases आए हैं उनके, where he was an out and out red ball bowler, then he became a brilliant white ball batter, then he became a brilliant white ball batter, not so much in red ball, and then once again he's trying to find the balance between white ball and red ball cricket. So I think in this phase we need to only take KL Rahul, what he's doing in the middle order. Forget what he's done at the top of the order. Top of the order, the challenge is different. You're facing the new ball on tough pitches overseas. That has been taken into account in his average. just thinking on what Gautam Gambhir has said, he is going to the BGT, and let's move on with that. And because we will be talking about KL Rahul a lot more, it seems. हमारे खुद के GG drop out हो गए हैं, so I'll just come to you guys right now. Rohit Sharma. Anybody else worried about his form? I think I was. When I saw him getting bowled today, I was like, wait a minute. When did Rohit score big runs? Last.
Nagpur.
Bangalore.
When? Last year. Australia.
No, what? No. Nagpur के बाद इंग्लैंड में बड़ा नॉक आया क्या? No, he scored that Rajkot. No, Rajkot. England.
Rajkot. Okay, yeah, Rajkot. Okay, Rajkot. Yes.
That
So that was also in the first quarter of the year, and obviously there's not been much Test cricket. But my question: anybody else worried?
Absolutely, Chetan, because like Priyansh here is telling us about, the way he gets dismissed. Pitch over delivery from Saudi, yes, but he looked quite clueless today. I mean, yes, the morning, the late evening, I think Saudi got good purchase from the wicket, but Rohit looked very unsure, and this is something that if you see, he looks very disappointed with himself, but it is not, like you said, he hasn't got the runs in a long time, and that somehow with so many others either non-performing or performing well, his performance has been flying under the radar.
Yeah, okay. Let me rephrase my comment, because he's been, obviously itna Test cricket nahi hua hai since the England series, and Rajkot he got those runs. Even across formats, he had a very ordinary IPL. I'm just talking in terms of Rohit's runs, the way he bats, the way he scores runs. He looks good. He looks in momentum. He looks in form. What we have seen from him is quick 30-40s. Wo impactful hundreds, the big runs, irrespective of the format, is just not coming to my head. Maybe I need a refresher. I don't know, but that's the thing that's worrying me. Ki chote starts, chote knocks, make your impact, then you're gone. And that's been happening a lot across formats. Happened a little bit in the T20 World Cup as well. We didn't have that one standout knock from Rohit Sharma, and that's my major worry. Nimish is saying we need big runs from Rohit before BGT. This selfless 40s are not looking good. So these are some of the thoughts. One final thought on the Test match.
I think the bigger problem when we talk about Rohit, I think it's the problem that we end up mixing formats. We end up confusing formats, and that's what comes to mind when you think about Rohit. Like right now, I'm not a big number geek, or probably not as polished as Nitin, our dear colleague, when it comes to remembering games. I kind of tend to forget games very often. But abhi is saal, because I've been fortunate enough to cover a lot of games, so that Dharamshala knock, Rajkot knock, that 90 against Australia in the T20 World Cup, these kind of knocks stand out for you. But the problem is, uske baad wo aisa cluster of knocks aata hai jahan wo 30-35 ke baad chhod deta hai. So then that perception becomes कि यार ये तो हर जगह स्टार्ट छोड़ रहा है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. टेस्ट में रन कर रहा है, बट आज वो बॉल अच्छा था. वो शुभमन गिल भी सिमिलर फैशन में he got a leading edge which kind of went through the vacant area, but Shuman was also almost squared up, but he did well because वो थोड़ा बैटिंग स्टांस दोनों का डिफरेंट है. But it was a peach of a delivery, I would say. But Rohit was undone. That was a beautiful delivery.
I'll just take this one comment. Rohit, by way of walking the talk and playing aggressively, has created an illusion in front of analysts, hiding his failure to produce big knocks and being consistent. I don't agree with this at all. I don't think there's any illusion as such. I think he's done exactly what he's talked about, especially in the white ball format. वो आपको fearlessness चाहिए. आप देखो 22 T20 World Cup, the way India was batting and the way they've batted in West Indies, that was really different. But I'm just concerned in terms of even against England. Rajkot mein there was 130 odd, Dharamshala mein 103. So you're not seeing those big knocks with regularity. But again, with Rohit, jaisa Sahil ne kaha, it's very easy to mix formats because he's such a good batter across formats. So maybe I could be wrong. But I just felt a little worried with the way he was dismissed here.
No,
And the way
what
he
you
was dismissed in
what you
Bangalore.
said, Chetan, was absolutely right, because the moment he was dismissed, because I couldn't remember all games at the back of my head, तो मैं गया जाके सारा inning list देखा, but then I could clearly remember अगर वो 90 odd
Yeah,
Australia के
okay.
against नहीं आता,
Yeah.
so World Cup campaign वहीं रुक जाता. So there are knocks, but then they've been
There
spread
are
out.
knocks, yes. I just got a little worried seeing Bangalore and Pune ka dismissal. But one last comment before we move ahead. The pitch. What did you think of it? It was not a rank turner, but it is a black soil pitch. There's already variable bounce on it, and there is going to be a lot of turn on it. Jo turn mila hai Ashwin ko and Sundar ko, and even Jadeja was turning the ball, and he was turning the ball from round the wicket into Devon Conway. That was brilliant to watch. So my point is, batting fourth for India is not going to be easy. What do you guys make of it?
The variable
Yeah,
turn, I think, is going to be a concern.
Okay.
See, even I don't think even in Bangalore, Rohit was not happy batting fourth. He wasn't looking at batting fourth at all. So with the way it's turning, it's really worrying given our batting lineup.
Okay.
Side.
Okay.
I mean, we have some fantastic players of spin, so.
Okay. I think that was a sarcastic comment from Manuja when she said we have some fantastic players of spin. Nimish Janeja is saying Santner picking a fifer tomorrow. Okay, that's your punt. मुझे जो अच्छा लगा आज देखने में यही कि यशस्वी और शुभमन were not really going on the on the attack. They were on the front foot. So they were looking to play the day out, and tomorrow they'll come back and probably we'll see. I think tomorrow the first two sessions it is still going to be good for batting, and then it'll all depend on what Glenn Phillips can do. Let's not forget him, and what Mitchell Santner and obviously Ajaz Patel, who can forget his 10 wickets. Sahil, quickly a comment on the pitch and the test match before you get the big comments out.
No, Santner, I'm really looking forward to Santner versus Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli का डंडा मार रहा है. मेरे को तो दिख रहा है घूमता हुआ.
Okay. Just one final comment from Kuldeep on this. India doesn't get 100+ lead, then there might be over for India looking at the pitch.
I think they need more than 100. They needed 200 run lead at least.
I think 200 to I think 450.
Well, this is your only chance to bat. This is your chance to bat New Zealand out of the game, right? You can't play catch up when you are chasing in the fourth innings. That's what I feel. Abhi bada lead lena padega.
True.
And not on this pitch.
Yeah. Absolutely. But on today's evidence, it did not look like a 450 pitch. Let's be very honest. It did not look like a 450 pitch. So let's move on. We don't have too much on the IPL today, but we will take Sahil Malhotra's comment. Can we have that story on Rishabh Pant that we had yesterday? We'll also take Manuja's comments on that, and maybe she can give us some information. No. Let me first set the base. RCB woo Rishabh Pant. He's supposed to enter the IPL auction. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. Sahil Malhotra broke this story on Times of India. Sahil, set the base for us. What's happening here?
A lot is happening here. I think Arani was there yesterday. I heard patches and parts of what he spoke about. What's the Rishabh Pant situation? And I've been talking to him also because he and Rishabh Pant they go back a very long way, like under 16 times. Rishabh Pant ka situation right now hasn't improved from what I have heard at DC. It has been sliding down further. तो अभी अगर आप मेरे को बोलोगे ऋषभ वहां रुक रहा है, मेरी नजर में वहां नहीं रुक रहा है. उसको कप्तानी चाहिए, कप्तानी वहां नहीं मिल रहा है. ये क्लियर है. Captaincy is not happening. There could even be wild assumptions and wild thought processes of even entertaining a Shreyas Iyer entering the auction and then DC going heavy for Shreyas Iyer. Lot of things are at play. This IPL mega auction is going to be the mega auction like never before. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be an auction like never before. Rishabh Pant is very likely to enter the auction. और 20 से 22 करोड़ का बिकने वाला है. सिर्फ आरसीबी नहीं आने वाला. आरसीबी तो पूरा टिकने वाला है. Don't rule out Punjab Kings. Don't rule out KKR. Don't rule out. There are multiple franchises who will be gunning for him because he's a very likable character in the.
I won't rule out CSK even. I won't rule out any franchises. Why not Gujarat Titans?
CSK have earmarked their captain in Ruturaj Gaikwad. They won't kind of give fodder to another Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ravindra Jadeja situation. A captain taiyar hai, it's their homegrown boy. So वो
No. But here's a couple of points. No. Here are a couple of points. Let's be very honest about this. Auction dynamics. When a player enters the auction, there are two things he can't control. One is the price. ये कॉन्वर्सेशन कल हो चुका है कि हर प्लेयर यहाँ पे जो भी श्रेयस अय्यर हो, जो भी एंटर करना चाहते हैं, राशिद खान हो, जो भी हो, जो एंटर करना चाहते हैं, नॉट एवरीबडी इज गोइंग टू गेट 20 crores. No, I see somebody like a Rishabh Pant getting 20 crores. Undoubtedly, for me, he is going to be the biggest name in the auction if he gets there. But having said that, you can't say that ये 20 crore का गारंटी है. गारंटी तो ऑक्शन में नहीं होता है. दूसरी चीज जिसका गारंटी नहीं है, यू आर सेइंग कि सीएसके का अपना कैप्टन फिक्स्ड है, अग्रीड, बट ही इज सच अ बिग प्लेयर, ही कांट कंट्रोल सीएसके बिडिंग फॉर हिम, he can't control CSK getting him, and then he doesn't get to be the captain in CSK. I'm just giving an example. That is another thing that a player cannot control. कि कौन सी टीम आपके लिए कितना बिड कर रही है और कौन सी टीम आपको लेके जा रही है.
But Chetan, that's what you sign up for, right? When you don't agree to be retained.
Precisely.
You're entering a free market, and that market isn't controlled by you. That's the beauty, and that's the dangerous bit of the IPL auction, that it's so team and franchise driven. Player को भी option दो यार कि वो भी red flag खड़ा कर दे, भाई मेरे को नहीं आना, अपना काम करो, मेरे को तुम्हारा 20 नहीं चाहिए, मैं 18 में यहाँ जाऊंगा. तो ऐसा कुछ इंटरेस्ट लाओ ना यार. Now that you have become so creative with the RTMs and everything.
Yeah, but again, having said that, very very simple, it is not confirmed कि वो जहां जाएंगे वहां पे उनको कैप्टनसी मिलेगा, unless he goes to somebody like an RCB or a Punjab Kings. I don't see captain or who else I don't see captaincy happening otherwise. Manuja, let's get your thoughts on this.
I think RCB, the kind of situation they are in right now, you have a captain who's 40, injury prone, who plays all the leagues before coming to India. You would have played the PSL, the SAT20. So last year, he was very nimble foot. Faf was quite not at his fittest. And, I think RCB is also looking at changing perception. They started first by rebranding themselves as Royal Challengers Bengaluru last season. When have they respected Indian talent? Very rarely. You had a Virat Kohli.
Manuja, when have they respected Karnataka talent?
Manuja, I want you to go on. No, wait. Sahil, wait.
So
Manuja, I want you to go on.
Order,
No, Manuja, just one second.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say, Sahil knows this very well about me. I don't take RCB seriously. Okay? So when you make your points, just make sure you're talking to a person who doesn't take RCB seriously. Now go ahead.
Yeah. What is your option in terms of a wicketkeeper, middle order bat? Like Sahil had very clearly pointed out, with Dinesh Karthik gone, anyway, your middle order has always been fragile. And captaincy, I mean, if you're going to look at long-term captaincy, I think Kumble and Kohli are the only two Indian captains they've had.
Yeah. Rahul?
Yeah.
Not Rahul?
No. KP, they had KP, they had Vittori.
No, not
Callis.
No, but they let Rahul go, na? They retained Sarfaraz Khan instead of KL Rahul.
KL Rahul.
Yeah.
KL Rahul is not captain them. But, given the age factor, and if they're looking at a long-term investment, I feel they'll go all out for Pant.
Okay. So KL Rahul का मुझे याद है because he was not retained, and they because उस time पे Sarfaraz was uncapped, they retained Sarfaraz, and then KL went to Kings 11. That was Kings 11 Punjab then, and he became captain for 3 years over there. And KL Rahul was coming fresh of that big season that he had for them. Just we'll take a couple of questions on RCB from for Sahil as well. Are they retaining Siraj? Are they retaining? I don't think they're going to retain Green or even somebody like Patidar. I think they will go for right to match cards. I don't see them retaining anybody beyond Virat Kohli, and I think that would be for a change. I'm saying this. I think that will be a good strategy for RCB. Sahib.
No, I think that's the story I wrote last week as well. Virat Kohli and who? That question is kind of, it kept ringing in my ear. Why I say that? Cameron Green, he's injured, he's not playing. Rajat Patidar, he's not a 10 crore buy with all due respect to his talent and everything.
Yeah.
When you're spending 10
Yeah.
crores on a player, you need 20 in return with terms of the brand value which they bring to the table,
Yeah.
sponsorship
And
and
RCB में आपको पत्तेदार और cheap मिल जाएगा.
हाँ, और आरसीबी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा ब्रांड ओरिएंटेड है यार. अभी उनको एक विराट के अलावा ब्रांड खड़ा करना है. I was discussing RCB numbers with KSR last year and he said the moment Virat Kohli exits, अभी स्पॉन्सर जो ऐसे खड़े होते हैं ना, फिर आरसीबी को ऐसे जाना पड़ेगा. वो नहीं होगा. They have the cream of sponsors right now. वो बाद में नहीं मिलेगा. Third, Mohammad Siraj, economy of 9 in the last 2 out of the last 3 seasons. 2 out of the last 3 seasons. From what Andy Flower, if I'm not wrong, Andy Flower was talking at one of the press conferences in Ahmedabad. I was there for that game, and he said you need very smart bowlers for Chinnaswamy. You need Chinnaswamy oriented bowlers who know how to bowl at Chinnaswamy. Siraj so far hasn't figured how to bowl at Chinnaswamy. Only bowler from RCB who had figured that out was Yuzvendra Chahal, but you went for Asaranga. I don't know for what joy. So that's a story for a different day. But right now, Virat Kohli, primarily because you wouldn't want to spend 10-12 crores on a Rajat Patidar. That's how the cricketing logic in me kind of says कि अभी 10-12 करोड़ पाटीदार पे आप नहीं, आरटीएम को करो 4, 5, 6, 7 तक लिमिट करो, उसके ऊपर पैसा रखो पंत के लिए 25 करोड़ रखो पंत के लिए.
Maxwell. What about Glenn Maxwell?
No franchise should bid for Maxwell. No franchise.
वो छोड़ दो. I'm not talking about no franchisee here. I'm talking about RCB here. RCB does what no franchisee does.
फिर आरसीबी अगर
RCB does what no franchisee does.
RCB will retain
Maxwell
Maxwell on friendship.
करेंगे या नहीं?
RCB will only retain
Maxwell. I agree.
I won't be surprised.
So if that surprise I know from where Manuja is coming from, by that logic फिर FAF भी retain होगा. फिर दोस्ती तो तीनों का होगा ना, स्टेक तो साथ में बनेगा बैंगलोर में रात को मैच के बाद.
फिर तो if that happens then you're back to the old RCB. ठीक है?
Yeah, then Anuj Rawat is your middle order batter. Then Anuj Rawat is your middle order batter keeper.
Right.
क्योंकि उसका भी अलग कनेक्शन.
On that note,
हम डिस्कस करो फिर. मतलब ये गुत्ती जितना उलझाओगे आरसीबी का उतना उलझेगा.
But what is clear is, on that note, what is clear is the last thing here, which we all agree is that they will go hammer and tongs for Rishabh Pant. The only thing that I don't want to see on auction day, जो उन्होंने मिचेल स्टार्क के साथ किया कि हमारे को अल्जारी जोसेफ मिल रहा था इसलिए हमने मिचेल स्टार्क पर बिड नहीं किया.
God,
I don't know. ठीक है, Mitchell Stark didn't perform that well, but again, he was part of the winning KKR side. Towards the end, he regained that form and all. But that was a very weird statement. What I don't want to hear from RCB is, we bought XYZ क्योंकि पंत बाद में आते, we wanted to hedge our bets and all. I will not be able to, I'm not that big an RCB fan, but I'll not be able to handle it after 17 years of seeing RCB doing what RCB does. But on that note, we just accept that they will go hammer and tongs for Rishabh Pant. We hope to see what RCB does. We're waiting for some more news, but thank you so much, guys, for joining us once again on the show.
Thank you, Chetan.
Sahil Malhotra, Manuja Virappa, and of course, we had Gaurav Gupta earlier as well. We'll be back tomorrow at 6:30 talking more about India, New Zealand. And in the meantime, if there is more IPL news, we'll be taking that as well.
And women.
Sorry?
India,
New Zealand.
And women, yes, of course. How could I forget that? Yes, India, New Zealand women is also happening. So that'll be also something to keep an eye on.
Manuja has just confirmed her presence for tomorrow's show. With that, Manuja has just confirmed her presence for tomorrow.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, guys. Thanks to our viewers. Keep watching. Keep sending in your comments. We absolutely love interacting with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Bye.